This podcast contains strong language and adult situations. If that's not your thing, you've been warned. Welcome back, fuckers, to the Fuck My Work Life podcast.
Hey everybody, I'm Kay.
And I'm Jay.
And this is the podcast where we read your workplace stories to you.
And riff.
That's right.
That's right.
And we are actually reading your workplace stories to you this time.
Yeah, no guess.
It's just Jay and I.
Yep.
Womp womp. Sorry, listeners.
Yeah, you'll live.
You love it. It's been a while.
Well, you loved it in the first season, so...
I mean, they tolerated it, I feel like.
Nah, they loved it. You fucking loved it.
You're gonna love it.
We haven't had any episodes this season with just us, right? We've had guests the whole time.
Our season opener was just us.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And then it's been guests.
Yeah. The guests have been fun, though.
Yeah.
It's been pretty fun.
Had a lot of fun.
Gotten pretty shitty.
Yeah. Shitty drunk.
Like drunk shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Country drunk, as Drunk Theory says.
Country drunk.
We're going to get country drunk. Yeah, I really enjoyed having guests. But it's also nice to just, shoot the shit with you every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Aww. And our special guest, actually, today is Ghost. He's sitting here in the podcast studio, a.k.a. our dining room.
Yeah, no doubt you will hear him in this podcast. He's made that clear for the past couple minutes that he's not having this shit.
Yeah. He's gonna make his concerns
presence known.
His concerns known.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've recorded without a guest. It's kind of a lot of stupid shit has happened in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
we lost our baby boy.
Yeah, we lost our baby boy.
Don't tear up.
Don't tear up, baby. It's okay.
Our little clippity cloppity that you could hear in season 1.
Yeah. Henry passed, and it's been pretty rough. We had it done at home, which makes me feel a lot better because I feel like he wasn't stuck in some vet where he was anxious and didn't know where he was. He was at home and he was in his mama's arms, and that's all that mattered. And now he doesn't have to find his way home now. He's here. We have his little box of ashes and we have his footprint.
Yeah.
And it's been rough, but we still love him. We still say goodnight to him every night and goodbye to him every day when we go to work. Kay's still having a tough time with it.
I mean, he was my first rescue. I had him for 13 years.
Yeah.
He's been with me for multiple moves, a divorce, a new marriage, Yeah. He's been my little companion, and I didn't know it was going to be this fucking hard. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard when, growing up as a kid, you have dogs, you have pets, and they pass. And it's hard when that happens as a kid, but there's no comparison to when, you're the mama or you're the papa and you rescued them and they counted on you, for their everyday needs. And he loved you to the end of the earth and back, the end and back again.
He was such a mama's boy.
Oh, yeah. He was. I was the bad man. There were times where he would look at me and be like, Mommy, pull my bed off the couch. It's a little too close to bad man. But he loved me. Yeah. And I loved him.
He was a good little boy. So rest in peace, little Henry. We love you and we miss you, and I'm sure the podcast fans are going to miss your little tap dancing toes.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was only in one episode, because I heard it once. I was like, nope, this can't happen again. Little typewriter dog. So, that sucked. I've been in a funk, I feel like, since then, so there hasn't been much going on, really. Yeah. Work's been real busy and insane. Yeah. As always. Cutting into my goddamn Twitter time, which I'm real mad about.
Cutting in my drinking time.
But, I mean, what else has been going on with you? Anything?
I repainted a bunch of shit on my car.
Yeah.
Been working on my car quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know.
You did dude stuff in the garage as per usual.
Yep.
Not that girls don't do stuff in the garage, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Okay.
There's plenty of girls who do stuff in the garage, but in this situation...
In our house, it's dude stuff because I do not do stuff in the garage.
Yeah. In this situation, I was in the garage working.
Yeah.
And, it calms me.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It calms me when you're out in the garage all day. You could just sit here and watch my shitty TV all day.
Yeah. Yeah, you can watch your high school girl shows.
Yeah.
Buffy and whatever those other ones are.
What do you call it? My adult Nickelodeon? Or
Yeah. Yeah, your adult Nickelodeon.
I love it so much. I love horrible TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I don't care, man. I'm proud.
Yes, you do.
I'm proud. I do want to just give a quick shout out to the guests that we've had so far this season, because it's been really fun having them. We've had Brian Colburn from Playlist Wars.
Yep.
Then we had Mark and John from 100 Things We Learned from Film.
That was a shit show, it was so awesome.
It was fun. And then we had Jeremy from the Neatcast, which was
also a shit show, but
a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. His stories are
literally
fucking
shitty.
Nuts.
Yeah. And then we had Matt from Moral Combat.
Yep.
And then last week, we had Zach, who doesn't have his own podcast, but he guests on a bunch of different podcasts, like the Neatcast and Effin' Cultured and Podcasters Assemble, I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So yeah, we've had a lot of fun with them. Go check out those podcasts. With that said...
We drink because we work.
What are you drinking today, Jay?
I am having Firestone Walker Brewing Company 805. It is a blonde ale. It's pretty damn good. I don't know what the alcohol... it's 4.7. So,
that's not bad.
A little more than Coors Light. I think Coors Light is like 4.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically water.
Peace water.
Peace water.
Yeah, I had a sip of it. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
Sometimes blondes, especially, I feel that's local, right? Firewalker, whatever.
Central Coast, California. So it's local.
Skinwalker Ranch, what is it? I don't know.
Skinwalker Ranch?
Brewery. I feel like any kind of beer from like California breweries tastes hoppy, but that's not at all. It's pretty smooth.
No, it's not. It's not at all. Not at all.
Because I'm a basic fucking bitch and I don't care, as soon as the pumpkin beers started showing up in the stores,
we're fucking stocked up, folks.
I went and I bought lots of pumpkin beers. But, I'm keeping it kind of fresh. And this one is from Voodoo Ranger?
New Belgium?
Is New Belgium the brewery?
Well, it says New Belgium across the top of the can.
But then what is Voodoo Ranger? I don't know. Okay, New Belgium, Voodoo Ranger, Atomic Pumpkin, which is a spicy release, and it's pumpkin habanero.
Yeah, I actually want to try it eventually.
It's good. It's
I know it's going to be hard to tear one of those cans away from you.
You get the pumpkin-y flavor at first, and then it kind of finishes with just a little bit of heat. It's not overwhelming. Yeah. I like it. I like the sweet with the spicy.
Yeah. Well,
it's good.
Pass it over.
Try it.
Let me try it.
I feel like it's got just the right amount of heat. It kind of takes a minute to hit.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you handed it to me and I put it up to my lips, all I smell is pumpkin pie. It smells like pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
But it's got a very, very small kick at the end. Very small.
I like that, though. I feel like it could be teeny tiny bit more, but too much, and I think it would be overwhelming.
But it does linger. Like, the kick lingers a little bit, which is good.
On this topic, I'm going to put it out there, because both you and I like finding kind of a good spicy beer, and since that one brewery stopped making their habanero sculpin, I forget the name of it. Ballast Point.
Yeah, Ballast Point.
We haven't been able to find a good spicy beer. So if anyone has a suggestion for a spicy beer, let us know. You can email us. You can tell us on Twitter or however you feel like it.
We could always get like a pony keg of Coors Light. I know I'm talking real soft right now. Cause,
You're trying to be like romantical talking about the Coors Light?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get like a pony keg or something. Open it up.
And just drop some peppers in there?
Drop some fucking habaneros in there and let it sit for a while. And then
would that fuck with things?
Ain't only one way to find out.
I don't know the sciencey stuff behind beer.
I don't know. Maybe our buddy who worked in the beer industry can let us know.
Maybe.
But honestly, I don't even know if you can open a pony keg. Doesn't that release all of the...
Well, I think you'd lose the carbonation.
Yeah, well, that would be no good. Because fucking flat beer is no good.
No. Well, we won't do that. But if anyone has any suggestions for a good spicy beer, let us know. Before we get into the stories, let's take a quick break to hear from a fellow indie podcaster.
Yes.
Do you like weird and wonderful stories pulled from the depths of the internet? Stories containing whale explosions? The engineers intended for the 8-ton carcass to be thrown into the ocean in pieces. Instead, chunks of flesh flew towards the beachside town and fell from the sky, crushing a car a quarter of a mile away and raining down on a crowd who had gathered to watch the pyrotechnics.
Where is your god now?
Bagpipe beach badassery.
In battle, you weren't allowed bagpipes on the front line or something. I don't know why. I don't know what events led to that needing to be legislated.
Bagpipes in the rear guard, jazz funk bass up front. Yeah.
Is that an oboe, Private?
Or flaming terrorist ball kicking.
John would later go on to receive the Queen's Gallantry Medal for his actions, being to this day the only person to be given an award by the Queen for kicking someone in the bollocks. What a fucking badass.
Then check out the Weird Thing About That podcast. Find us on Twitter at WeirdThingPod and listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple, Podchaser and Good Pods, amongst other places. See you soon.
All right, we're back. Go check those guys out. Yeah. It's a fun podcast to listen to.
Give them a listen. Support your indie podcasters, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to get into our first story. This one comes to us from Joe from the Hallmark of Greatness podcast, which is another one of my favorite podcasts.
Thank you, Joe.
Go check that out. And it says, "Hello again, long-time listener and second-time caller." This one comes from when I used to work in a city center convenience store. I guess your equivalent would have to be 7-Eleven or a Wawa. It was right in the center of Manchester, opposite the main bus hub, and had a steady footfall of locals and people staying in the expensive service apartments overhead, as it had a small Greasy Spoon cafe attached to it too. People would stay in the apartment for a week or two, and would pop in regularly for food and booze and stuff. This is important to the story, I promise. Anyways, there's a TV show in the UK called Mrs. Brown's Boys. Don't watch it, it's bottom-of-the-barrel garbage. But the cast were on tour and staying in the apartments as the arena where their show was on was a 5-minute walk away. So I got to recognize their faces and was on a friendly how's-it-going terms with them. Well, on delivery day, I was hoiking stuff off pallets in the back and bringing them onto the floor to replenish stock, as were all the other 5 or so staff, and it was super busy. The cast of MBB were in the cafe eating lunch, and as minor celebrities, had people asking for autographs and all that. I spotted a young man waiting to be served on our side of the shop, and as everyone else was busy, I went over, got behind the till, and was all, "Hi, how are you?" He slammed down a bottle of Coke and mumbled something in a thick Irish accent that I couldn't make out.
"Oh, you fucking wanker, ya."
I'm sorry, what was that? Same thing again. "It's very loud in here, and I didn't quite hear you. Can you speak up a bit?" "Open the fucking till!" was my Irish accent. I looked down, and in his hand was a needle, like an injecting needle, that he had clearly found in some hell realm, as looking as it nearly gave me hep C. I froze and was like, what the fuck do I do here? To open the till with no sale involved going through 3 subscreens to find the button, so I was like, fuck you, I can't open the till without a transaction. Why not? It's to deter robberies, I think, I shouted. People had started to notice something was wrong now, and his time was growing late. He barged me out of the way and pawed at the screen like a cat trying to work an iPad. 30 seconds later, he got frustrated and snatched up the Coke that he hadn't paid for and made to leave just as the cast of actors was leaving too. "You've not paid for that cola," I yelled. He turned around and launched it back into the shop, striking the fellow who plays Mrs. Brown in the head, I think. He then ran off, and we found out later he tried to bag snatch a few people, but he was as good at that as he was at armed robbery.
Okay, so there's a lot of shit that needs to be unpacked here.
Okay.
He tried to rob a place with a fucking hypodermic needle?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's a new one. I don't think I've heard that one before. Because what do you do to keep from getting stuck? Step back and tell him to go fuck himself?
I mean, yeah. The same thing as like knife points.
Yeah, that's true. But that doesn't happen much either.
Yeah.
Like, somebody walks into a place with a knife and is like, empty the cash register. You like grab a pen and be like, let's fucking do this.
I would probably still be very scared.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I'm working at like a 7-Eleven type place,
just take everything.
You could come in with a fucking dildo and be like, empty the cash register. And I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, all yours. Yep. I don't care.
Just don't touch that thing to me. I don't know where it's been.
So the police came and took statements and told us they had caught him. I had to go to a police lineup, which is not what it's like in the movies at all. Very disappointing indeed. Anyway, he was convicted and sentenced to, I think, 5 years for general twattery.
General twattery.
What are you in for? General twattery.
General twattery.
Twattery. That's more Cockney than Irish. Irish is a hard accent. In the same job, I also had someone commit suicide off the bus station car park and land like 6 meters in front of me. God.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Can you imagine? And also saw a human being taking a shit in a bin out in the back of the store. They saw me and just kept going, like a dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you're in the middle of, pinching one off,
yeah,
there's no pinching it off.
Hard to stop, I guess, especially, maybe you got the heroin shits. I don't know what that's like, but I've heard stories. Thank you, Joe. That was a great story. I apologize for my horrible accent.
Yeah, we try.
So next we got our first voicemail.
Yes.
Which we're very excited about. This one comes to us from Kelly from the Drunk Theory podcast.
Yes.
And she's telling us a work story. So have a listen to that.
Yeah.
Hey, Jane K. It's Kelly from Drunk Theory. I heard you guys were looking for crazy work stories, and I just happen to have one, so I thought I'd call. A long time ago, when I was still an undergrad, I worked security at this apartment complex that was more like a halfway house for crazy people. And they were totally harmless, like they weren't criminally insane or anything like that. But there was never a dull moment there, so I thought you might like to hear some stories. So, for one thing, it was pretty common for people to just get off the elevator butt naked. Like, that happened all the time. And then I'd have to tell them to go back to their apartments and put their clothes on. I got mooned one time by a drag queen. That was pretty interesting. There was one woman that used to call the security desk all the time, and she would say stuff like, "Somebody somewhere is hurting me with something." And, just all kinds of things like that. That same woman called me one time and said that somebody was walking around outside her window, but she lived on the 10th floor. So it was just a whole lot of stuff like that. And there were a lot of interesting moments, but I am super glad that I did not make a career out of working with, crazy people. So I hope this helps, and I hope this is something that you can use in your show, but if not, my feelings won't be hurt. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Fucking, what was it, a bouncer for a halfway house for crazy people?
Crazy people. There's someone outside my window.
Yeah, on the 10th floor.
Yeah. Thanks again for that, Kelly.
Yeah, that was good. While we're talking about it, if you guys don't have the time to write down or type out your stories to send to us, we do have a voicemail where you can just call and the voicemail will pick up and you can just tell us your story. I mean, we won't be there, but, you know, we're there in spirit and we'll listen to the story and we'll play it and it'll really help. And if you don't want your voice on the podcast, we can dictate it out into typewritten and then we'll read it. And the number for our voicemail is 310-818-3273.
Yeah, 310-818-3273.
And for our folks across the pond, that's going to be a +1 310-818-3273.
Yeah, it might charge you money though, but we still want to hear from you.
Yeah, just do it anyway.
Even if you just want to leave us a voicemail and say hi, that would be great too. Maybe we'll play that. I don't know. We just want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your lovely voices.
Confess your undying love for our podcast.
Yeah. I love you.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, so now you have a story.
Yes, I have a
us,
story
right?
that is quite lengthy.
Yeah, I like length.
This story comes to us from DT from Space Castle Podcast. Years back, I was hired on for what was supposed to be a lower middle management position, leading a design team in the marketing department of a national grocery store chain. The interview process was absolutely bonkers, wherein I had no less than 6 interviews with at least a dozen people. Some were panel interviews.
Jesus.
Wow. And this is for a grocery store. Okay.
For what is it, like graphic design? Did they say a design job?
Yeah, marketing department. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
still, that is fucking overkill.
And for each one, the person interviewing was either 45 minutes late or didn't show up, or I was shuffled to someone else who could clumsily get through the interview and pass on notes to the appropriate person.
Jesus. That's corporate America for you.
I mean, that's okay. This was all a series of red flags. But it was a step up for me in terms of responsibilities. I wasn't happy in the job I had, and it looked like a great resume booster. I killed every interview and a very silly and sloppy skills test where I was repairing the design test files for who would end up being my supervisor. Then they went silent for a month.
Oh, jeez.
I called the HR rep, who had been my liaison through the process, and asked if the position had been filled. The person said no, and that they just hadn't made a decision yet. Another week or two goes by, and I get a call to come in for yet another interview, another 4-person panel with people who are only tangentially relevant to the department. Jeez. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
Killed that one too. Then another 2 weeks go by, and I get a call saying I got the job. I give my current job 2 weeks' notice, and I'm ready to roll.
So
hooray, right?
Wait, so he's going on about 2 months now since the initial interviews?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what he said. It's bonkers. I don't really know what to say.
I know. It's just... Ugh.
I give my current job 2 weeks' notice, and I'm ready to roll. Hooray, right? Wrong. I arrive on my first day. I do orientation and paperwork. I watch a bunch of scary videos about office shootings, and they start telling me about
Jesus.
signing up for benefits and whatnot. I receive the paperwork, and it does not match the position I applied for. I'm suddenly hourly instead of salary. I ask about this, and I get a bunch of hemming and hawing. I go up to my floor, meet my supervisor again, the guy who tests design files I fix for him, meet the team I'm supposed to be leading, and start getting settled in. I get to about the late afternoon when I realize I'm not leading this team. I start asking questions, trying to figure out what's going on and where I'm actually supposed to be. I learned that somewhere during my interview process, there was a bunch of infighting and bureaucracy. Why do I have such a hard time saying that word?
That's a stupid word.
Bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy. And
there was a bunch of infighting and bureaucracy I didn't say it again, huh? Did I say it wrong again?
No, I think you said it right, but you're just like, bureaucracy.
There was a bunch of infighting and bureaucracy, and my supervisor decided he didn't need a second in command and could just keep doing it all himself. And it turns out I'd been hired to fill a very recent vacancy on the team after a huge blowout resulting in someone being fired.
Nice.
They called me back for that last interview to hire me for the vacancy, not the manager position that no longer existed. The person they didn't tell about this was me.
Jeez.
The guy they hired and never told that the position had changed.
What fucking dicks.
Yeah, but what do? You
right,
like you gave already. Your 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. This was fucking calculated.
Yeah, definitely. I stayed for 6 months while I looked for another job. And in those 6 months, I saw a massive vacuum of power between VPs and executives, all of whom acted as if they were the head of the company. This power vacuum came from recent vacancies on the board of executives caused by everything from people jumping from a sinking ship to recent sexual harassment suits that had been kept quiet. Imagine that.
This sounds like a great company to work for.
Yeah, I want to know what fucking grocery store is it. It's like Piggly Wiggly or some shit.
I have an idea, but they specifically said they did not want.
Okay.
They didn't say, but they didn't want to mention it. But I have an idea.
Okay, we'll keep going. I learned that the newest CEO had only come on within a week of my start date, and his first act to try and save the company from the brink was to kill the department I was in. Every department meeting started with, okay, no one's jobs are in danger yet, but
Jesus. So
every single week.
Just go home and relax and, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Every week, someone on our floor left in tears and never came back, which means, like...
They were firing people.
You are in danger.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone we fired you.
I realize this is all super lengthy, but it gets worse. I had a desk mate who was a fantastic artist and the most optimistic guy ever. He knew everything in this company was complete shit, but he wanted people to be happy and for our team to do well.
Oh, bless his heart.
He wasn't naive, just really kind-hearted. He was on the verge of achieving his MBA and having been in possession of some great ideas from all of his learnings and research. He asked the VP of Marketing if he could share some ideas on how to streamline things, make people feel more secure and happy, and just raise morale in general. Well, I know from experience that shitty companies, they don't fucking want morale raised.
No. They'll throw you. There's like a lot of great memes going around where it's like, oh, we value our employees. Here is a pizza party. It's like, okay, how about some like raises and you treat your people like human fucking beings?
Yeah.
Like pizza's great, but it doesn't solve the problem. I want pizza.
Pizza is great.
I want pizza and better treatment.
And moolah, bitch.
Pizza.
Mm-hmm. She agreed, and they had a private meeting the following week where the VP asked him to outline his ideas and send them to her. He was elated. He was super happy that they had listened to him and he had a chance to keep the team together. We'd all grown close right away, sort of a battlefield type camaraderie. He sent in the outline and he waited. A week later, he was called into a sudden meeting with the VP and the creative director, in quotations, of our department. He was super amped to share his ideas and make a difference. And they fucking sandbagged him. They pulled him into the meeting and tore into him. You think you know better than us? You think we don't know how to do our jobs? How dare you? Straighten up and fly right, or we'll find someone else to replace you.
Jesus.
It was a schoolyard bully targeting, and it was awful.
And then they probably took his ideas and stole them and used them as their own.
He came out of that meeting crying and shaking. We took him out for dinner that night to calm him down so he could drive home. The VP, the creative director, and my supervisor then had multiple meetings with the rest of the team. trying to sort out dissenters and malcontents. And each one of us basically laughed at them. It was absolutely heinous. And the Thursday of that week, I told my supervisor I was done. I had already packed up my desk, deleted my browser history, told all of my team individually that I wasn't coming back, and that was it. My supervisor started shaking and tearing up, and I had no sympathy for him at all, as he participated in the sandbagging and targeting of my friend. I threw up the deuces, strolled out, and never came back. I still keep in touch with my team. Years later, that guy who was attacked by our bosses is one of the few in that department who still works there. Holy shit. Poor guy.
Poor guy.
That's
Fuck that. Not glutton for punishment, but those overly optimistic people will just fucking let themselves be walked all over.
Yep.
For years and years. Aww. I mean, this is like sadly typical fucking corporate America behavior.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's fucking mind-boggling. I know we've gone into this before, but why would you not treat your employees with respect it's not about you. It's about the company.
And that's the problem these days, is it is about them.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying.
It is, everything is about everything. I feel like in big companies, everything is a fucking power struggle.
Yeah.
And everyone is afraid of losing the little tiny bit of power they get. It's not about team building and taking people's ideas and working as a team to better the company.
Yeah.
It's I had this idea, and if someone had a better one, then I have to stifle that and somehow turn it into mine.
Right.
Especially if they're below me.
Yeah, and I think it just stems from the bigger issue of just...
people fucking suck.
Well, that, and just the way of life in America.
Yeah.
No matter, unless you're part of the fucking super rich, you're most likely struggling to make ends meet. And you feel like the only way to get ahead is to fucking stomp on people.
Yeah.
And be a fucking dick.
Yeah, the only way you can climb the ladder is by kicking people down it.
Right.
Yeah, it's... God. All right, well, you know.
I mean, this is a work podcast.
It is. We're going to get into this, but, you know, I'm starting to feel like I want to light some shit on fire.
Let's blow shit up! Have you ever been stomped on or manipulated in a position before?
I wouldn't say manipulated, but I've been held down in a position before because there were certain people who did not want me to climb any higher, which I wasn't even fucking high. I was still on the first step, second step of the ladder, but I've definitely had people in higher positions, and not even because they felt threatened, just because they didn't like me.
Yeah.
You know, which happens. I mean, it happens everywhere, and I get it. I'm a very abrasive person, not always, you know, but I can come off like a very abrasive person.
Yeah. And
people misjudge it. You know, it's not that I want to be that abrasive person, but I'm also not going to play to your need for being coddled. If you're stupid, you're stupid. And I'm not going to, it's like not even a rule, but I'll ask nicely once. And then the next time, it's not going to be so nice.
What do you mean?
Like when I'm talking to someone or I'm dealing with someone and I ask them a question and it's blatant bullshit that they give me an answer with, okay, I asked and nothing. And so the next time I'm going to be a little more forceful. And then after that, I'm just going to be a dick.
Yeah.
You know, and I think in a lot of situations, people, they want, especially if they're higher than you, they want you to ask a question and they want to feed you bullshit and you just walk away with that bullshit. And that's not me. That's not me.
Well, I feel like most places, situations, they don't want employees that think on their own. They want the people that are just going to be like, okay, yes, I'll do this. Okay, I'm not going to question authority.
Yeah. And that's a problem.
And when you do, which you should absolutely be able to,
yes,
they get stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think people who ask the questions that other people are afraid to ask, I think the company needs those people, because the people in the higher positions who hear the questions asked that they don't want asked, it makes them realize that there are people underneath them that are actually thinking about this. Because before the question is asked,
Yeah.
you know,
They think they're getting
the
away with
people in
something.
management are afraid that someone might ask this question.
Yeah.
And when it is asked, you know, naturally they get a little defensive, but it also makes them step back and think, okay, they asked the question that I didn't want asked. What can I do to make this question not get asked again? And unfortunately, all too often, it's stifle that fucking person, get them the fuck out of here, instead of changing the way they're doing things.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going off into the weeds.
We always go off into the weeds.
I know, but
we need a weed whacker.
I don't want to go too far.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people in positions above me take credit for my work quite often. And it's hard because you don't really know if you confront them. Maybe you, I don't know. Not lose your job.
They start gunning for you.
But then they start gunning for you. And it sucks. I kind of wish I was just unaware of everything and just blissfully ignorant to shit that goes on. But unfortunately, I happen to be very perceptive.
Yeah.
And I see the shit that's happening. And I'm actively trying to not care.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. It's real difficult to not care.
It's really difficult.
But I want to reach that just level of zen where it's just like, whatever. I show up, I do what I'm asked, and I go home, and that's it. Have a beer.
Yeah. Take a 10-hour, 12-hour vacation every day.
Yep, every day. At the end of the day, my friend and I say, have a nice vacation, because we're on vacation till the next morning.
Like, it's basically like a 15-hour vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a real vacation. Real bad.
Yeah, we'll get one.
In a while.
We'll get one eventually.
But speaking of beers, I'm going to grab another beer.
Okay.
And we're going to listen to
another promo. Yeah.
Another word from a fellow indie podcaster.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back.
Okay.
Are you sick of podcasts wasting a chunk of your day with inane verbal wank and tired routines? Well, Cupcake, have I got the fucking show for you. What the fuck do you want? Tricks a different person in every week, and I ask them, what the fuck do you want? And they fucking tell me what they want. This is a show that respects your time more than you respect yourself, you cunts. .co.uk is where you can find links to download all of my episodes. Or don't. Get fucked.
What the fuck do you want?
And we are back. Go check out that podcast. It's on my regular.
It's in my regular.
Elma Fudd. It's in my regular weekly rotation. It's a good time.
Yep.
So we have one more story for you. This is a short one. We got a series of stories that we read in last week's podcast with Zach from the See You Next Tuesday podcast, which I did have a chance to listen to a couple episodes, and it's really good. I listened to the one that their story was about last week. Fucking bonkers. That was their first episode.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Oh, yeah. That one was... Oh.
Yeah. So the See You Next Tuesday is very appropriate for the topics that they cover.
Yeah.
This one is called The Creep is Real. So I was working as a server/bartender at a restaurant, and we had regulars that would come in all the time. At the time, I was doing my server duties, but one of my regulars for the bar came in and sat down at the bar hoping to get me. He didn't. Instead, he got my boss who trained me, who's a great bartender and a good person. In the middle of the shift, I was at the bar grabbing drinks for a table I had on the other side of the restaurant when my regular decided that now was his chance. As I was facing the bar, he came up behind me and kissed the back of my neck and whispered something in my ear that I cannot remember or repressed. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
That's fucking ballsy as shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's a regular
who's
been drinking at a bar.
And she's probably really nice to him because she's a good server and a good bartender. And this fuckwad took it as the go-ahead.
She wants to bang me.
To fucking assault her.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I was so shocked that I just stood there, then went back to the back, not knowing what to do. I eventually told my boss, the current bartender for the night, and he lost his mind. I stayed in the back as they kicked the guy out, and he never came back. All that to say, take care of your coworkers and tip your waitstaff. We talked about that a lot in our last episode.
Yeah.
That tip truly is what they live on, and their payment for having to deal with creepers all day.
Yeah, I can only imagine, like, I know there's, like, a lot of the wait staff at a bar is, like, good-looking girls, you know, good-looking girl bartenders. I cannot imagine
the shit
that they have to deal with from...
drunk pieces of shit.
Drunk, horny, old men.
Just like, drunk, horny men.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I feel like, well...
It doesn't matter. It just takes a certain type of person who will misread the niceness of a server as...
Yeah, flirtations.
Well, yeah.
Like flirtations that are not for a tip.
Right.
That want to go further than a tip.
Oh, they
want
so
the
into
tip.
Me. Yeah.
You know?
Just the tip.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but I feel like old men who are regulars at a bar, I feel like they would push it further than anyone. You know, you've got your frat boys who... Yeah,
I disagree with you. But go on.
Oh, no, you can't disagree with me.
I think any age of dudes. I used to get that shit at In-N-Out Burger when I worked there, and it's like...
Okay, well, let's not keep it just... Let's not keep it to just dudes, because there's some pretty flagrant girls out there who go to bars and do some pretty hairy shit.
Yeah, I feel like women that do that type of stuff tend to get away with it more because people are like, oh no, guys, all men are into that, which is not true either.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can definitely happen both ways. But I'm saying for me, I'm disagreeing with the fact that it's an age thing. I think any age.
Yeah.
Men or women
definitely
can misread those cues.
Yeah, but I feel like older men have more of the don't give a fuck. You know, once they've reached a certain age, you know, they're like, I don't fucking care.
I think we're done with this topic.
Yeah. I think we need to be, because I think it could rub certain people one way and certain people the other.
Yeah.
And this is not...
We're not a political podcast.
No.
We just get off on tangents sometimes when we start drinking.
And I think it has nothing to do... I mean, it kind of...
It has to do with work if we're talking about the service industry.
Yeah. But fuck, we could go for hours on the service industry.
Hey, service industry workers, send us your stories.
Okay, so... I have a story that is not, it wasn't about my work life, but I was witness to in its service industry, and I was witness to this waiter who he had to, from someone that I went to dinner with, he had to deal with the most blatant disrespect that I wanted to punch the person I went to lunch with.
So you were with this person?
I was with this person, and
with this person?
No. Okay, so I was in my early to mid 20s.
Okay.
And we went to a seafood restaurant with a person that was a grandparent, not my grandparent.
Okay.
And this grandparent was very hoity-toity. Mm-hmm. They were a district attorney.
Ooh.
Yeah, they were a district attorney for Orange County. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, yeah, exactly. So we sit down at this restaurant, and the table's not good enough, and he wants a different table. It was a dude, of course. He wants a different table. So he bitches to the waiter, who has nothing to do with where we sit. We just sat in their section.
Yeah.
And they're trying to wait on us, but now he has to deal with moving us to a different section because it was in Dana Point.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, we were in the middle of the restaurant and he wanted one by the window.
Okay.
And so he bitched and bitched and bitched, and they brought waters to the table, and he was like, yeah, that's great, but there's a table right there, and I want that table. And just bitched until finally they moved us, so we had to grab our shit and get up and go to a different table. And then when the waiter for that section came over, everything that he ordered was, I'll have this. You got that?
Ugh.
And I want this not on it. You got that? Everything was preceded by or I don't even know if that's the right word. Everything was followed by, you got that?
Yeah.
And I could see the waiter
just getting
fuming.
angry. Yeah.
He was such a fucking piece of shit.
Jeez.
Like, I'm going to have the salmon salad, blah, blah, blah. You got that? But I don't want any nuts on it. You got that? And I'm going to have an iced tea, but no sugar. You got that? Everything.
What a fucker.
Everything. And I wanted to put my fork through his fucking hand while it was on the table. He was such a piece of shit. And then when we left, his tip was like 5%.
Oh.
And I was just like, and this was not, they took us to lunch.
Yeah.
This was not one fucking lunch plate. It was like $25.
Yeah.
It was not a cheap place to go. And also, I was in my early to mid 20s. So this was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was not fucking cheap.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my God, you fucking piece of shit. And we were visiting out here. I lived in Las Vegas, and before the rest of the time that we were visiting out here, like we weren't staying with them, we were just visiting them, I wouldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
I stayed quiet, and I dealt with, I mean, I didn't have to deal with anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was the victim. I didn't have to deal with anything. I wasn't going to talk to this person again.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for the waiter. I felt so fucking bad. Fuck. How do you not accidentally spill shit in this person's lap? Probably because this person would not have let it go until you lost your job.
Yeah. You just spit in their food. No.
I know. And that's also what was going through my head. Like, what was that movie?
They're in charge of your food, dickhead. Be nice to them.
What was that movie? Waiting?
I don't think I ever saw that.
They would like pull pubic hairs out and put it in the food. And like the one dude would shake his head and like get all his dandruff out to flake on the food. Like I was going through that while I was, and I don't even know if that movie was out at that time, but all I could think was they're definitely fucking with our food back there.
Yeah. Yeah. Be nice to anyone who is touching your food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care even if you're kind of a dick, I'm gonna be nice to you because you're bringing me my food.
Yeah.
And
that's going in my body.
Food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what an asshole.
So that was a
ice hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh, with Johnny Dangerously.
Yeah. You farging bastages. Put your bells in a sling. Oh, God. Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
So, follow us, subscribe to us,
rate and review.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Good Pods, everybody. Yes. If you're a podcast lover or you just love this podcast, download the Good Pods app because it's a great way to listen to pods, follow your favorite pods, set up your playlist, and easy to rate and review each episode that you listen to.
Yeah.
It is a huge platform for indie podcasters at the moment. Indie podcasters get lost in the Apple world.
Yes.
So if you are an Apple lover and you listen to your podcast on Apple, that's fine. Please rate and review us there. But if you want to try something new and a little less...
Yeah, and discover some new podcasts.
A little less corporate-y, check out Good Pods. Download that app. Follow us there. Leave us a review. We'd really appreciate that. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms, whatever you're into. We're on Google Play. We're on
Spotify.
Amazon Music.
Yeah.
All those places.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We're in your ears.
That's right. And you like it.
Email us your stories, please.
Yes.
Really want to do a Halloween special. We already have a good story lined up for that, but I want a few more.
Yes, we need some spooky stories.
Anything Halloween related, spooky, or if you had a costume malfunction at a work Halloween party.
That would be fun.
Anything Halloween related and work related. Send in those stories.
If you dressed up as a unicorn for a Halloween party and ended up puking on the sidewalk, that one would work too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. You don't know much of that night.
Shh. So yeah, email your stories to fmwlpod@gmail.com. Call us. You heard a voicemail in this episode. We'd love to get more of those. Give us a call. What's that number, Jay?
310-818-3273.
Even if you just want to say hi or tell us what you think about the pod, we'd love to hear your voice. Give us a call. And then you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're at FMWL Pod on all of those platforms. We're very active on Twitter. We have a lot of fun there. Our cat is trying to get on the table. And you can buy us a beer over at buymeacoffee.com/FMWLpod. If you like what you're hearing, you want to support us, help us buy some better equipment, because we've noticed since having guests that we sound really horrible compared to their nice microphones. So if you want to buy us a beer and help support the podcast, you can do that. Or just you can help support us by telling your friends, spreading the word, getting them to listen to our podcast. We'd appreciate that.
Yes, definitely. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, anyone you see at work that looks like maybe they're in a funk at work and they need an outlet to get shit out. It's completely anonymous. We're not going to dox them.
What does that mean?
Dox is like give out their name.
Oh, okay. I keep hearing that term.
And their address and like basically put them out there for the world to know who they are.
Okay.
Like we're completely anonymous. You can send in your stories. You know, if you send it from your personal email, which I don't know how else you would, we're not going to say who you are or what your email is. We can be completely anonymous. If you need to get shit off your chest about your workday, let us know.
Yeah.
Even if it's a minute long, let us know. Because if you do that every day, that's 7 minutes.
You just send your daily rants at the end of the day.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I might start doing that.
We should.
I'm going to start leaving voicemails for ourselves.
This motherfucker farted.
Shit, I had a thought and I forgot it. Emails? Yeah, I don't know. It's gone. My brain doesn't work anymore. It's fried.
It's that Atomic Pumpkin.
That's right. This is good beer.
It's good beer.
Everybody try the New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Atomic Pumpkin if you can find it before it's gone. It's my new favorite.
Yeah, we're gonna go empty out Bevmo within the next week.
It's like 6.4%, which is, it's not horrible, but it's a little bit more than a normal
Coors Light. The 4.2.
Coors Light. Yeah. Okay, and last but definitely not least, support indie podcasters.
Yes.
We give a few shout outs in the beginning. I also want to mention Munch My Benson, who are going to be guests with us in an upcoming episode.
Yes.
Check out SVU Pod Especially Heinous, Chat Smash,
100 Things Film,
100 Things We Learned from Film.
Yes.
There's so
Moral Combat.
Yeah. So many great indie podcasts. If you check us out on Twitter,
you'll see all of them.
You'll see all of them.
We
Anyone
interact
we're
with
following.
all of them.
Yeah. There's so much great content out there, you guys. Go support it. Leave reviews. Get involved.
Yes.
Tell your friends. We're all just doing this because we love it. And we love you.
Aww.
I feel like I'm forgetting something. It's been a while since we've done this. I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. You fuckers. We didn't call them fuckers yet. Thanks, fuckers.
Well, we did when we opened it, but I think we need to get a little better about
referring to our listeners as fuckers.
referring to them as fuckers a little more often.
In the most lovingly way possible.
Yeah, it's a term of endearment when it comes to this podcast.
That's right. We love you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Why do these people think that they can, like, flush their fucking toilet while we're recording?
Fucking cunts.